If you're going to be getting a business credit card, you might as well get one that has a very high limit, so this way you and your business can thrive. And before we get started, just let me know in the comments below, since I'm curious, why do you want a business credit card? So the first credit card on our list is actually fairly interesting. It's called the Amazon Business Prime American Express card. Now, oh man, take a look at all these benefits. Okay, so this credit card comes with 5% cash back flat on all Amazon, AWS, and Whole Foods purchases, which is pretty interesting to me because you know some people that have businesses like e-commerce where they're actually buying things from Amazon, maybe marketing them themselves on a Shopify website, and then sending it direct to consumer to them for, of course, a higher fee, and then they make the money in between. Along with using that AWS kind of cloud software that Amazon also uses can actually help if your business runs on that. And another little thing that's really interesting with this credit card is when you actually go to purchase something new, right? You could either have the choice of getting 5% cash back on that purchase, or you actually have the option to deny that 5% and turn it into a 90-day 0% financing on that purchase alone, which is huge. Imagine if you have a huge renovation coming up on maybe one of your businesses, and maybe, it's $10,000, and maybe you don't have all of the cash to actually pay that off in full. So now, for 90 days, 0% APR, which makes it a lot easier to just pay it back as a whole. And you're also going to be getting 2% cash back on all US gas stations, restaurants, and wireless phone providers. And then general housekeeping, there's no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee. And I guess the only caveat is you actually have to have an active Prime membership to actually get approved. So what is that, like $13 a month now? Which you would think if you're getting this credit card, it should be free, right? But Amazon's got to take their cut. This credit card also really depends on a lot of different things, but mainly just having a relationship with American Express as it is. Now, I saw that people that already had pre-existing relationships with American Express got credit limits anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000, and sometimes higher, but I didn't see too many of them. But if they didn't have any relationship with American Express whatsoever, typically the limit is super low, like $3,000 to $5,000, which I know doesn't sound great, but here's what you could technically do no matter if you're either one of these two people. What you could essentially do is American Express pretty much allows you, after 60 to 90 days of owning their credit card and having on-time payments, etc., they can actually let you request a credit limit increase, and pretty much almost 100% of the time, they allow you up to 3x your current limit. So if you weren't that fortunate, maybe they only gave you, $5,000 to $10,000, within 90 days, you could essentially get $15,000 to even $30,000 worth of credit limits just because you established that relationship. And just like you have to subscribe to Amazon Prime to actually get this credit card, you actually have to subscribe to Anthony Venture's YouTube channel to get to hear me talk a little bit about business credit cards. So I guess thanks for hitting that, and here's a weird business that I just found. The second credit card on the list is actually, unfortunately, another American Express card, but it is the Amex Blue Business Plus credit card. You guys might have seen, but this credit card has absolutely blown up recently, and I think Spencer Johnson is to blame. Just kidding. If you watch his video on it, he did a great breakdown on the card, better than I'm going to do today, but let me give you a short synopsis. A couple quick facts here is this credit card is going to be giving you 15,000 American Express membership award points after you spend $3,000 within the first 3 months of opening the card. You're also going to be getting a flat 2 points per dollar spent on all everyday business expenses like office supplies, employee dinners, and a lot of different things that I'll leave on the screen right here. And this just applies up to the first $50,000 in spend within the first year. Anything beyond that is 1 point per dollar spent. And another great bonus that wasn't on the other two cards is actually an intro bonus of 0% APR for the first 12 months upon card opening. Which for the credit limits on this credit card, it's actually pretty standard. It seems like a lot of people, including Spencer, actually got a credit limit of $10,000 when they first got approved as their starting limit. And I've seen this on a lot of different cases. I've seen a little bit higher and a little bit lower, but generally it's about $10,000 when you first get started. And then you could still do the exact same thing as the previous card, and you could actually request a 3x credit line increase within the first 90 days of opening the card, which is... that's pretty good. But also another interesting thing that this credit card has that the other ones don't is they have a feature that's called expand your buying power, or just expanded buying power, which means technically you could actually go beyond whatever the credit limit they actually give you, which is pretty similar to the charge cards that American Express has. You could actually check your spending power right before a big purchase. So the same with this credit card, maybe you only have a $10,000 limit, but maybe you have to spend $15,000 in renovations. You can essentially check your spending power and possibly be approved for that $15,000 spend. But it's really just depend on you, your credit profile, your relationship with Amex. You know this already. And again, I'm pretty sure the highest credit limits for this credit card I've seen were around $100,000. Now for this next credit card on the list, I'm going to need you to really pay attention because there are a ton of rewards that I'm not going to repeat myself. As if you can't just double tap and go back 10 seconds. As if you can't just double tap and go back 10 seconds. Now the third credit card on the list is actually called the Brex card. Kind of the new kid on the block, and he's kind of edgy. He's got a little bit of issues, a little bit of problems, but people like him because he's kind of funny. And he kind of doesn't play by the rules. He's not necessarily associated with all of the big banks. He goes by his own thing, which is actually called the DUNS number. Now, this is not specific to the Bricks card, it's specific to a lot of different businesses, but especially the DUNS number is important for this credit card specifically. And the DUNS number is essentially looking at you and specifically your business to see the revenue, your payment history, how often you pay on time, what's your total income that's coming in, just a lot of different things in reference to your business to see how reliable you are and what's your business actually generating. This way, these kind of startup and these smaller business credit cards that don't have access to all the information that the bigger banks have can look at this number and realize, oh, this person has a legit business. Here's what we're going to give them in credit limits. And of course, just get approved in the first place. Okay, so this credit card has a $0 annual fee, 10,000 bonus points after you spend 3,000 within the first 3 months of opening the card. Okay, so I just have to read this, okay? Because you're getting 7 points per dollar spent on all rideshare, 4 points per dollar spent on all Brex travel, 3 points per dollar spent on all restaurant, 2x on software subscriptions, and 1x on all other transactions. Plus, you're going to be getting 3x Brex rewards on all eligible Apple purchases. You can also transfer to 7 different travel partners and a few other things, but the most important thing are the credit limits. Okay, so now onto credit limits. Now, this card is very unique in the way they actually manage their risk, in that they don't actually just give you a preset credit limit just based on your relationship like all the other cards, but it does actually give you a credit limit directly linked to your business and specifically the amount of cash you have on hand. Or in layman's terms, the amount of cash that you have sitting in your business is also the same limit that they're going to give you for your credit card. Now, this can kind of work both ways. Like maybe if you're very cash dry in your business and you keep reinvesting all the profits, you're not going to have a very high credit limit and thus might not be important to get this credit card. But if you're a business like maybe a real estate business that's super cash heavy, maybe 30%, and maybe you have millions and millions of dollars on the sidelines in your business, you can also subsequently get a credit line of millions and millions of dollars. It's directly tied to your cash balance. So for that alone, and since it's kind of tailored to you, I think it's a fairly interesting credit card, and I think it could work with pretty much most businesses. Especially since this credit card actually also partners with Dun Bradstreet, which are responsible for your DUNS number. So just getting this credit card alone is elevating that DUNS number, so this way, new credit cards that actually go by this number will also be in favor of you because you have history. Okay, so I think that's the most I want to talk about business cards today. Okay, so if you guys want to see, I alluded to earlier, how to actually 3x your credit limit with American Express, I'll show you this video right here where I actually did it on my personal credit card, so I'll leave that on the left.